But I'm looking around. I've got my roadmap software that I'm seeing on my screen. You guys are not seeing that, but you will be seeing pieces of the roadmap software throughout the presentation. The presentation just has not begun yet. I'm here to make sure that you can hear everything. Sound is good. We know where we're coming from. And by the way, speaking of we know where we're coming from, if you guys could let me know where you're logging in from today, we always like to kind of keep tabs on that. And while you're doing that, go ahead and give us a little weather report. What are the temperatures like in your area of the world? Meanwhile, S&P futures, they've got hot temperatures, 67.34. Market is climbing on a bit of a run. That is a new all-time high in the S&P, 67.34.75. All right. Got Myrtle Beach in the house. We got New York City in the house. Sam, heard him earlier. We got Hoover in the house. And where else are we coming from? Getting a few people logging in here, seeing a few things going on. Boaz hadn't been there in a while. 75 in Boaz. All right. Knoxville's in the house. Pittsburgh, Winchester, Virginia, Phoenix, Dayton. Going outside of New York City to Rochester. Nice to have you here, Mary. And Marge, we'll make sure and get that done. If you send an email to Rowe, ROWE, at DTItrader.com, he will get in touch with you and help you out on that front. Warm and muggy in Miami. Yeah, I know that feeling. And we got Tom coming in. He'll be listening at this point. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes. But, he's down in Jacksonville, and I think the entire Gulf Coast might be a little bit warm and muggy. So that sentiment's probably echoed coming in from Minneapolis. All right, great. We got a great crowd here, guys. And roadmap software, I think, is probably one of my favorite topics. And it's going to be the primary thing that we are talking about today. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope you are too. Now, a couple of the big news reports and things that we need to pay attention to this week. Um, Oracle doing a little CEO shakeup, and that's going to be kind of in the spotlight a little bit. I think Oracle's up about 3% today. And let's see, what else have we got? eBay is making a few moves. And I guess the big headline is gold. Have you guys seen the price of gold? 3763.1, the high. Gold is up more than 40% this year. And if it keeps going along this line, this could be the biggest move in gold. See, Yahoo Finance is pointing this out. Could be the biggest move in gold since 1979, year over year basis. That's a pretty big run. Today, gold up, looking like 1.31% on the futures. I mean, this thing is moving. And right behind gold is silver, getting up over $44 today, 44,115. I think there's some exciting things in these markets. Then you got the AI chip stuff, and of course, for those of you that are paying attention to earnings, I think Micron MU is on the table for this week. So this could be a lot of fun. Plus, we get GDP and PCE at the end of the week, but we got time to deal with those. So, what are you guys looking forward to? What do you want to talk about today in regards to roadmap software and markets in general? What are you looking at? What's on your agenda? I'm looking around the headlines and reverse splits. Ooh, those are always fun. T-Buzz top 10 sheet. I will make sure that there are a few people out there who know you're looking for that. Let's see. Apparently, there may be a deal with TikTok, and that's going to be interesting. That's one of the headlines that people were watching. All right. Watching these markets, 67.3750, the new high in the S&P. Nasdaq is made up to 24,937.75. These are futures markets, by the way. Dow futures up to 46,704. Russell futures, they're trying to climb back up and join this party. They've made it up to 2470.4. So markets are building on strength this morning. And it's really interesting because you've got this market strength for today. Now we know the market strength has been there for a while, but daily probabilities did really point to this day as a big day. But you have this market strength in our index futures, and you also have strength in gold at the same time. So it's a different sort of level here, and part of that has to do um, with the easing environment that we're now getting from the FOMC. And as far as any recordings, guys, if we are recording on YouTube, you should be able to find it there. But if you need help finding a recording, uh, just usually you can find it in one click. But we'll have Adam and Jonathan around to help you guys navigate that. And if I have to do a deep dive, figure out exactly where that is, I will get that done for you. So we'll get everything figured out. So if there's a recording you're looking for that we can find, we're gonna do our best to find it for you. All right, Jonathan has joined us, and well, there you go. Philip just threw that in. Philip, that's the recording, right? I appreciate that. That's another thing you can do if you want to go and or that's for today's recording. Okay, go ahead and send that out to everyone. I'm gonna push Philip's message. So if you want to go back afterwards and watch the YouTube again, just to sort of learn a little bit more, make sure you know what you're looking at. That is available to you. So we definitely want to make sure that you guys have all the access that you could want. We think we do a pretty good job with these sessions, and so got no problem with you watching them over again. In fact, we highly encourage you to. And if you like, you can share that link with your friends, invite them in. They can even log in on YouTube and sit quietly and listen, or they can join us on Zoom and participate and ask their own questions. So definitely look forward to that. As far as our slides today, let me see if I can grab the link and post that in for you guys. These are the slides that Tom will be using today. All right, there you go.
Hey,
And
Adam.
we've got Tom in the room. How you doing this morning, Tom?
Well, we're doing great. We're having a great class. Got a bunch of great people here from all over the country and a couple of locals, so it makes it nice. Uh, the markets, obviously, if you listened this morning, I said 67.11 was our pivot, and as I always say, past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, market's going to go up 7 out of 10 days. This is the day it's going up. And our resistance level is 67.40, 45 area. Chuck will explain that after I get off. Our retirement center. Remember, I'm doing this totally free, but if you join, you'll see what I'm doing with my retirement account, and it's totally free. All you have to do is join at that link, and you come into the Telegram channel, and every Friday we're updating you right now. So as we near in on October, it's a good thing to be part of. And if you use a Tasty Trade account, send an email to Roe at DTI Trader. He'll get you the referral pathway in there. I like to use Tasty Trade, especially for education, and this is a good education about retirement money. This is Jonathan. Can you talk over there, or you want me to cover it?
Should be able to. Like Tom said, we got a class going on in Jackson or in Ponte Vedra this week, but after the close today, Tom and I'll get together probably during the event here and put this together. Get a broad market update to start the letter, and then some key news for the week. GDP and PCE are on Thursday and Friday this week. Key earnings. Well, earnings will start up again before too long. And got to get Tom's Magic 5 stocks too, so we know where he's putting his money. Plus a special opportunity for the week. That's all in the weekly trade letter issued Monday after close for a whopping $9.99 for the whole year. All right, Tom?
All right, folks. Again, we do this because it's a good document to use during the week. Somebody's got their, you got your mic on? I'm getting a reverberation.
How about now?
That's better, I think. Okay.
Anyone else in the room have?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the sound's getting straightened out now. It's just that you guys are in the same room, so the mics might pick up.
All right, Chuck, can you rotate the slides?
All right, let's see. I think those are going to be controlled on Jonathan's end, but
I saw him up walking around. I said, I guess they just left me hanging.
yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Um,
apparently. Chuck, I'm going to let you cover this part today, and I'll let Jonathan cover the 3-day algo because we got a lot of new people in here. Why don't we do it that way? And I'm going to cut my mic down and listen.
Okay, that sounds great, Tom. So today's focus, we're talking about 3 ways to use DTI roadmap compass charts to make money for the week. Now, this is only one component of the roadmap
Okay.
software, but the compass charts, these are huge. And so, Jonathan, before we go any further, someone might want to go over to Tom's computer and mute the mic.
Every day, Monday through Friday, we do this.
So, we left the mic open over there, but we will get that taken care of. Can we do this? Can we?
It won't vibrate. That was driving me crazy.
All right. So yeah, we just got the mic off. And the mic's still open, Tom. There we go. All right. That's going to clean up the sound a little bit. So 3 ways to use the DTI roadmap compass chart. Let's go ahead and move over to the next slide. So using the metrics. Now, if you're using the compass, you'll see this panel, and this was taken last night around 8:30. You'll see that the ATR coming into today, the average true range was about 60 points. So we're expecting about a 60-point range in the market. Now that's on average. You can be higher, you can be lower, but what is a reasonable expectation? So we build reasonable expectations based on averages. Start there. Next up is the ID number. Now for a futures market, it's not that important of a number, but if you're trading a stock, it kind of gives you an idea of how volatile that stock can be, how much movement you're getting. And if you're ever looking at trading an option, understanding where that ID is will help you in terms of setting strike prices. How much further out from the price do you have to go? That's the kind of thing that you can find from the ID. It also tells me how active a certain market is. So it helps out in just about all the things that we're looking at trading. And as you get roadmap software and we get a little bit more deep into it, we'll talk about how to use that ID in furtherance of your trading. Reference bar open in this case, because it was 8:30 last night, that is reference bar 1, which is also your open of the week at 67.16. Go down the list. You get the high, the low, the week open, the month open, the year open, and then this neat little part down here in color, buy zone, target, sell zone, target. What's kind of interesting right now, we've had the S&P futures obviously go above 67.23. They made it up to 67.37.50, so not quite to that 38.75. Tom was talking about that 40 to 45 area, kind of rounding out there what you see on the metrics coming out of roadmap. So that's information that we definitely want to be able to look at and understand as we move forward. Let's go ahead and hit our next slide, and we will look at our next thing. We've got the metrics. That's number 1. Number 2, the zones. Looking at the zones. This is going to be the time frames that we pay attention to, but it also gets us into the buy zone and sell zone as they adapt to those time frames. So let's talk about a couple signals that you get. Number 1, the buy signal. And if you were watching the market this morning, you definitely saw this. Now, this picture here is an example from prior, but if you were to go to a live roadmap, you'd see that. We'll get to that later, but just sticking to the slides right now, we see the penetration bar, and that's going into that buy zone. Remember that color code on the metric, right? So you enter the zone, and then if you get confirmation that that is the direction, you're expecting the market to head up towards the target. And you can see in this example how that played out. Let's look at the other side of it, though. What if it had turned out differently? What if the market showed us something and then backed up? So the buy failure, that's when you penetrate into the zone, into the buy zone, but there's not a follow through on the trend. And in fact, not just not following through, but the market gives you a failure signal, which would be to break the low of that penetrating bar. So basically, not only are you not continuing the trend, but you're actually breaking it. And a lot of times that goes even further. So you can see the buy penetration, the buy failure, and what typically happens there. If all your eggs are in one basket and all of a sudden the basket gets overturned, you're making omelets. So next up, let's look at the sell side of the market. Sell signal, again, just like the buy signal, it just happens to be in the inverse. We have the penetration bar, and the confirmation is when you continue the trend in the direction of the target. And in this case, in this example, target was reached pretty quickly. And of course, just like with the buy side, you have the sell failure on our next slide. Let's go ahead and jump over there, get the penetration bar into the sell zone, but the next action is to break above the opposing side, in this case, break above the high. So we are not confirming the downtrend. In fact, we are saying, no, that didn't happen. And sometimes you get the market turning around, going right in the other direction. This sell failure, kind of an interesting example here, because we had the failure on the sell, and a penetration bar in the buy at the same time, which was confirmed and then went up. So got to keep an eye on what's going on there. Sometimes the market is telling you exactly what you need to know, exactly when you need to know it. All right, let's keep going here. We're going to look at the third item in the roadmap software in the compass charts that we want you to pay attention to. This is the RB frame. The RB frame marks the high and low from our two most recent reference bars. And in this chart, you can see we go back and look the position of this stock. This is a futures contract, but it can be used in stocks too, relative to the RB frame. Now, this shows us a lot about the intraday trend. You'll notice the blue bar on the chart is the most recent reference bar. It looks like that was an RB3, for example. You've got a high there at 67.12. It's almost like this was taken from earlier today. And then you have some space below the low of the reference bar, and that's going back and looking at the previous reference bar, which had a low at 66.99 quarter. So we put those two things together, and we see not just what the market is doing in the instant, but what it's doing over time and how we can use that time to our advantage. On our next slide, let me tell you, this is just one component of the roadmap software. And we're going to be talking about the roadmap trader package today and why. I'll tell you why I think you should get the roadmap software. I think that it would be difficult for me to trade without it. I can trade without a trading platform. I can pick up a phone and make a phone call, but I can't trade without knowing what the market is doing, where it is, all those little pieces of information. Now, I suppose you could look up each and every piece and about 3 hours later make a decision on a trade that happened 2 hours ago. But having that instant information in front of you is powerful. And we try and put as much of it together as we can with the roadmap software. So next slide. Or do we plan on Tom taking over for this part? I assume I'm going to I'm assuming I'm going to keep going. Y'all let me know when Tom wants to take over. But Jonathan, do you want to go ahead and hit that next slide, or are we going to sit here for a little while? What's the time frame for your basis? So I assume you mean how much time does it take for that trade to develop? Trades develop at their own pace. So it could be 30 seconds. It could be really quick, or it could be a few hours. My preference as a futures trader, I like things to develop quickly. But I'm usually looking, we use 30-minute charts for the most part when we're looking at trading and showing you things in roadmap software and the default projections that we would have. A lot of these examples that you'll see, they're all running 30-minute charts. So our time frame is typically 30 minutes. Yeah, but that's also the time frame of what we expect the development, right? We use the 30-minute chart because it fits with what we're looking for the development. But again, it could be a quick trade or it could be a kind of slower grinding type thing. So that just comes down to how the market's performing on that particular day. But yeah, 30-minute charts are what we use as our typical basis. So the first thing you're going to get with this roadmap package, roadmap software. And you can see the bullets down here. This allows you to see the market exactly the way I do. That's true. I do not trade without this. I would highly recommend not trading without it. It's a little bit difficult for me to put together all the information without the roadmap software. And I've had a day or two where because of my internet, I couldn't get connected, and trying to follow along with the market when that's going on, that's no fun. That's a no trade day. You got to have that roadmap in front of you to feel comfortable with decisions you're making. And it works in every kind of market, whether you're trading futures, options, stocks. We can put that information in the roadmap software and see how things go. Let's see. Yeah, apparently we're doing some things. Let me see if I can put that together. All right, I'm going to replace the current share. Okay. I want to get this to a spot where I can make sure that I'm seeing let's see my screen. There we go. All right, can you guys see the slide again? Just double checking. I'm hosting the screens now, so I want to make sure you guys are able to see that. Yes. All right, thank you. Which slide? Well, let me go ahead and change the slides here, and we're looking at second. You're going to get the Roadmap Trader course. All right, so you got that, John? Everybody following along? Okay, great. So this course will turn you into a master trader. Learn how to set up and use the roadmap and its features, how to safely see the market the right way. You trade what you see. Follow those eyes. Those eyes, if they're looking at the right point, will lead you in the right direction. Next, you're going to get one of, this is Tom's favorite modules. Actually, this is a pretty good one. 4 patterns. I like the 4 patterns. 4 specific deadly accurate patterns to find using the roadmap software. We looked at those just a minute ago. Buy signal, buy failure. Sell signal, sell failure. How those set up within the roadmap software, within the buy zones, sell zones, and get a little bit more in depth in those, because how deep is it matters. How shallow is it matters. How quick is it matters. So all these little tidbits and details, that is going into the 4 patterns module. And I think that will be helpful. You will also get the complete trade management course, arguably one of the most important pieces of the Roadmap Trader package. Learn how to place and manage trades even if you've never traded before in your life. Learn how to set up autopilot trades so you don't have to watch charts all day. And also learn how to read the chart so you can use a little bit of risk management. You're also going to get the Rapid Results Quick Start Guide. This is your Quick Start Guide. It's going to show you how to get set up, start finding the opportunities immediately using the Roadmap Trader. So for those of you who might be a little bit shallow on the technology side, don't worry. We'll walk you through it. We'll get everything set up. And all you're going to have to do is look at that chart and say, what pattern is that showing me? And of course, we got the slides for that. Or we got the modules for that, I should say. Going to give you access to the complete DTI training suite. And you can see a little bit of the lines in here. The module 1, general tutorials. We got the tutorials introduction, options, stocks, futures, introduction to futures, introduction to options, student tutorials, tape reading, 101, 201, 301, 401. Tape reading is very important to us. Look at the mistakes of traders. Look, we've all made them. We're all going to make them again. We want to know what they are so we can adjust to them when we do make mistakes. Understanding your 401k. How do you want this built into furthering that development of your 401k, hopefully growing in a bit? And then one of Tom's favorite, his penalty tape. And this is a discussion that he had done that he always goes back and listens to if he ever loses track. It's just kind of one of those things that keeps you grounded. The penalty tape talks a lot about how to manage risk and expectations, and how to manage success and rein that in a little bit. Keep yourself grounded. The penalty tape is a great little tool. If you haven't heard it, request it, or sign up for this class, and you'll notice it will be there in module 2. Now, this is why I say this should be the most expensive product. This is why Tom says it should be the most expensive product. And quite frankly, I agree. In terms of everything that DTI sells, the focus on the roadmap software and the skills needed to use it are invaluable, in my opinion. Like this is really stuff that I've spent a couple years, more than a couple, learning this. Tom has spent decades learning this. Jonathan's been around this for a while. This is big time stuff. There is significant value to this. Our roadmap support team, you can see Tom and Jonathan there. I think that's a picture from the old office. You can see the roadmap software in the background, plus calendars, clocks, pointing to the trading platform. Actually, I've got 2 roadmap softwares in the background. You can see one just over Jonathan's shoulder and one in the top left corner of that picture. We like the roadmap software. You will see it in a lot of pictures here at DTI. So, what's contained in this deal that we're talking about today? The roadmap software, roadmap trader course, 4 patterns module, trade management course, rapid results quick guide, all access DTI training suite, full technical support, and our no nonsense guarantee. Look, try roadmap for 14 days. If you don't like it, well, you know how that works. Let's see, get it all figured out for you. Okay, gotcha. Roadmap 1-year access, complete package for a full year at just $9.97. Are we really doing $9.97? Adam, is that you? $9.97? Who put this price point in here? What are you guys doing? Wow. Okay. Not $29.97, not $19.97, not $14.97, but $9.97. I want to know why it's not $99.97. That's what I want to know. What are you doing, man? I have worked hard to put this together. Tom's worked hard to put this together. Okay, well, apparently we're making deals. So if you want to sign up for this, sign up at dtitrader.com/roadmap. Call 904-706-3532. $9.97. Adam, I see that look. Okay. You'll also get additional powerful features of the roadmap, like ETR page. I got to be honest with you. This is my favorite page. And if you guys have ever logged in at night for our pre-market planning session and you've seen me go in, I use that ETR page almost exclusively at night to prepare. This is huge, and there's a lot that you can do with it. It looks very simple. Now, I can go through and flip this ETR page where we're showing highs, where we're showing lows, where we're showing opens. I can change the time frames. This is a tool that I use every day throughout the day. Roadmap ETR page, can't live without it. The compass chart, that's our focus today from the earlier session. You'll notice the metrics on the right-hand side. You'll notice as you come in, you get into the charts, and you'll see the market moving in and out of the buy zone. Now, typically that buy zone is generated from the reference bar. So this example in TQQQ, waiting for the market to make that move. This was back in May. You can see 506 on the date. Roadmap trade tracker. And this is where Tom tracks his Magic 5 month open, last, FTD. That's the first 3 days. Higher highs, lower lows, or highest high, lowest low. Week start high, week start low, 5-day high, 5-day low, 10-day high, 10-day low. Every way we can look at the market to figure out what's going on. Are these in the current medallion members? I'd have to ask about that. If you already have roadmap software, do you have access to all the instruction resources? Some of those modules are going to be part of this package, but you do have a lot of information in terms of the setting up roadmap, how to use it. So there is a lot of information there. The trade management module, the pattern module, those are going to be more part of this course. Roadmap trader course, of course, that's education. Have to look into that and get back to you, but I'm sure you could contact your representative. They'll tell you all about that. $9.97 here is the deal. And Tom, I saw Adam on the screen. He's the one who decides these prices. What is he thinking? Like, how much time have you spent putting together this information? It's worth a lot more than $9.97. So reminder, today's recording will be found via the live tab. I do want to go back here, and I want to change this real quick because, guys, I want to show you a different screen. So let me just stop the share real quick. And want to show you the roadmap software if I can. Oh, wait, I just stopped the wrong share. Hang on one second. Charlie, sorry, that was me. All right. So let's go into sharing. I'll do screen one here. All right. So this is the roadmap software, and that's supposed to be down a little bit. All right. Roadmap software. I want to take you over ETR pages. I tell you that I use this all the time. And what we're looking at here is how the markets have been performing. But you'll notice these are these ETR pages look a little bit different. The top one here I've got set to open, high, low. So I can track a whole bunch of stocks information, lay all of this out, put it all together. And I'm seeing the progression of the market, not just from the opens, but also the highs and the lows. And notice that we're starting to slow down a little bit on the climb. Right? That's one of the things that I'm getting told here. This red at the bottom of the high page, we're not making new highs. And that is across the board gold, kind of trying to break the standard there. But you see a lot across the board. NVIDIA is looking strong. SQQQ, right? Those are the outliers. Come down to the bottom, and do we see a market trending down? The answer is no. You'll notice when you look at the bottom, we're getting a lot of green on the bottom. That means we are not making lower lows. So we aren't really pushing a change in trend here. It's just kind of a stall in the market. So that's what this is telling me. Yeah, David, there are a lot of features that come in, a lot of new ones. Just on this ETR page alone, we have the option to show. Now you have open, high, low. You also have last midpoint range. I like to use open, high, low. You have the interval counter where you can type in the number of minutes. You can also use a code like if we go D for day, just show you this real quick. This is showing me each day's open. Kind of easy to go back and do some research. And notice that's just going to fly all the way through. It'll fill in that information. So if you're more of a long-term trader, You can get that way instead of trying to pull up each individual chart to see where each market opened. Got the ETR page, and you can just run everything real quick. It's about convenience on the ETR page. Sunrise tool. We're waiting for that next development. We're in the middle of producing the Genesis bar right now. Genesis bar opened in the S&P at 67.33 quarter. You can see the market kind of turning a little bit, and we'll see how this Genesis bar sets up, see where we go from there. Got a couple extra little pages in here just comparing tech and retail, and you can see how those are doing. Percent open, I think, is kind of important when you're looking at a stock, and how that market is developing. So that sunrise tool, 2-pass rule, always fun. Now, I like to put up a big chart here without a lot of data on it, just have an RB frame, because I like to go through and read a chart. That's just me personally. You'll notice I also have the compass right next to it with that information. I try and keep that on swing so I can see that further development. And then we go back to the main page, and this is typically what I'm looking at. So I've got 4 charts in here. The Russell futures, kind of just following along with that, but a lot of detail on the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow. And I also keep a time and sales window up, mainly because I just like to know when things are happening. How do you make the gray box smaller? Okay, that's a very simple question, but the way you do that, it's a keyboard trick. So you're going to hold down the control key on your keyboard and then right click on that panel, and you can slide it left and right. So you have to hold down the control key to make that happen, Claire. All right, let me go ahead and stop this share and take you back to the screen and remind you, if you guys want to get the roadmap software and learn more about it, highly recommend the roadmap 1-year access plan, complete package for a full year at just $9.97. Okay. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap everything up from here. Leave that screen up and quickly post the 10 tickers. Jonathan, have you got those 10 tickers to post?
10 tickers from Tom this week, Chuck?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I can dig those up. Give me a moment.
And I think that's going to wrap up our presentation. I want to see if they have anything else planned. They're not going to stream the video. Although, yeah, it looks like everybody else is already logged off. Miss Jonathan, twice weekly review of roadmap.
Share the slides from last night's planning session, but you should be seeing the 10 tickers for the week. And
Explain to him what.
we're going to finish up training trade today, but a little bit unorthodox this week since Tom and I are teaching a class in Ponte Vedra. And sorry about the background noise there, but tomorrow we'll talk about another feature of the roadmap. And then Wednesday will be kind of back to our normal train and trade. The class will be done, and then we'll be ready to finish out the week Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with some good train and trade sessions. So everybody have a great day. I'll share these slides. And all you futures first folks, we'll be back tonight at 7 p.m.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tonight.